tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers! Welcome to another UnREAL After Show. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. If you guys haven't done so already, please go on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, rate, review, subscribe. We really appreciate hearing your feedback. Tonight, we are covering Season 1, Episode 9, titled Princess. We have a very special princess here with us in the studio tonight, Miss Nathallie Kelley, who plays Grace. Yay!
Hi.
I'm so happy.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. So guys, tonight it's just me and my buddy Nick.
What's up?
All right, guys, let's talk about what we really thought about the episode. All in all, I liked it better than last week. Last week was a bit of a downer for me, I guess. I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Honestly, I think
saying bye to Faith. It's okay. We all felt the same way.
It's tough.
She was everyone's favorite person, everyone's favorite character, and everyone's favorite human being.
She's great.
It was really emotional to say goodbye to her. And I was with her in the car when she read that script and got to the end, and she was like, damn it! And she's like, I really thought I could have gone to the end. And I guess, you know, we all kind of did, because it just would have made everything so right and so good. But those shows don't work that way.
That's
and
also
it kind of
very true.
reveals how, like, you know, manipulating and evil, and how the conniving people get ahead and the good people always finish last. But we were also really bummed to say goodbye.
Yeah, it was hard. And so that's actually cool that you bring that up. How much in advance do you guys know that was like right the week before you were shooting it?
Yeah, we were getting surprises with every script. You know, no one really knew the outcome. I kind of had a bit of a heads up that my character would go to the very end, but the way Faith's character was developing, it was obvious that people were going to love her. You know. And she did such a good job at bringing that character to life that, yeah, you wanted to root for her. Even Grace was rooting for her. Even Grace liked her.
Well, I'll never forget in the pilot episode, one of the first scenes, you know, the scene is more towards the middle when the girls have to pee and they escape the car, and then everyone is making fun of Faith, but
and
Grace,
I look out for her.
Yeah. They were like, oh, you go, oh, be nice.
Grace is not a bitch. Mm-mm. She doesn't need to be. She knows her power. She doesn't need to be bitchy. Rachel plants drama, and Anna responds and Grace responds, but she's not on her own trying to look for that, because she's too smart and too focused on the prize. So there's no reason for her to dislike Faith. And she's not a bitchy girl. She's not like Ariel's character, who I also love. Ariel's amazing and nothing like that character. But yeah, there's no reason for her not to stick up for Faith. I like that moment. I like that you remember that moment. Mm-hmm. I like that moment about Grace too, because it's really easy to paint her just because she's the hot one as also like the bitchy one, and she's definitely not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I love
If you back her into a corner, she will fight
then
you.
Then she's gonna come at you, right?
But she's not, you know, just innately bitchy.
And it's gotten her this far, so clearly that works. You know what I mean? As being a genuine person up into this game. Yeah, exactly. She knows what she's doing.
But is that really why Adam is having her stay?
Well,
I don't know about that.
I think she's not a dumb girl. She doesn't think that Adam's keeping her around because she's got a good heart or she's smart. She knows what Adam wants. She's probably gone throughout her whole life, you know, having these interactions with people, knowing very clearly what they want from her, because she is a beautiful woman. And so rather than like moan about it, she's going to play that card to her advantage her whole life. And she's definitely playing it to her advantage in this show.
Absolutely. And I do want to say every episode, the past 2 or 3, we've been like, what's Grace's story? It sounds crazy because we keep on getting these little glimpses of why is she claustrophobic? Like, was she buried alive? What the hell happened to her? And we only have 1 more episode left.
Yeah. Well, I can't give anything away. Yeah, we keep getting these little glimpses of her character, which is exciting for me as an actress because they could pepper, my backstory, and they gave her some kind of dimension where she wasn't just the hot girl. I'm like, wow, every week when I kept getting these little clues, because I'd be getting them too. It was exciting for me to add that into this character I was creating. The buried alive thing. I mean, she's not she didn't grow up in Connecticut. Oh no, where's Anna from? She's not some white girl from Georgia who's lived this sheltered life. She's a complex character from South America, and you discover in this episode that she has a lot of suitors in Brazil and men offering she says this guy had a finca that he wanted to offer her. That's like a farm. She knows how to ride horses. She's from a well-off South American family, but just because you're well-off in some places in South America, it doesn't make you immune to crime and kidnappings. And so it's just interesting. She's not your typical South American people are not often given a lot of layers. Latin characters on TV are they're helping around the house, or they're the nannies, or they're the illegal immigrant, and she's really layered. She's not your typical Latina.
In the beginning, on paper, what literally audition, the breakdown for Grace, what did they give you? What did you have? Was it really simple, or
it was that she comes from a well-off South American family, that she originally, there was a scene where she's being questioned about how hard life back home is, and she's like, what do you mean? I was educated at a boarding school in Switzerland. So that was my audition scene. Wow. And so that gave me so many clues about her. She lives a life that is not your typical Latin American life, even though she's a full hot-blooded Latin girl. She's seen a lot of things that other people haven't seen.
Yeah.
Can she have her own show? Because I really want to know
more about Grace. Me too. I think when the show, because they filmed a pilot and then we went back and did the pilot again, and they went away and really had to really reshape the show into what it is now. And what it is now is an amazing finished product with an amazing array of characters. And what happens when you have a lot of amazing characters on a show is you can't get to dive into all of them as much as you would like. But I too would like to know more about Grace. She is really interesting.
Well, that's why we're here, guys, to dive into those characters and talk about them each week. Before we break down this episode, we have a special message from one of our sponsors, don't we, Nick?
Yes, we do. Does driving matter to you? Driving with the windows down, the wind blowing through your hair, the smell of pine trees and fresh asphalt. You look forward to these moments when it's just you and the road. No distractions, handling every curve and feeling every nuance in the road. So ask yourself, does driving matter to you? If it does, we build cars just for you. Because to us, driving matters. Mazda.
All right, Mazda, thank you for that very special message. Tonight's episode does have some stuff to do in cars or trucks, so thank you for sponsoring us. Let's get into how we open the episode with Rachel and Adam in bed together. And she looked like she was really enjoying herself at the end of last episode. However, she wakes up not so happy.
I don't know if I read that as not so happy, because even then when she goes to where she wanted to go and she goes in and they're in the shower and they're getting it on, and we have the flash between Rachel and Quinn, both in different scenarios. Neither of them are happy in their current situation, so I'm really torn with her right now.
So is she.
I think so is Shiri and everyone. When we got the script, it was just like, wow, what a situation to be in. That's a hardcore thing, to wake up with somebody and then go straight to somebody else's bed or shower. But it's real. It happens. And I love that the writers, wrote something like that in there, because I think too often all like sexy scenes come from the viewpoint of men, where the women are just kind of like interchangeable and being objectified. And here there's a show where the men are interchangeable. Like Rachel Shiri is literally like just switching
Going
between
back
men,
and
and
forth.
that's not seen a lot of the time, and that's quite taboo in our society. Men are allowed to do that, but women aren't. And so, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
She's deciding.
I mean,
I don't know if she has decided. Yeah, I'm
No,
still. But you're right.
You need
she's
to
in-
try before you
that-
buy.
That's very true, and she's trying.
Yeah.
She's trying.
she really is, and I think that she felt guilt in the shower. Perhaps she would have enjoyed the shower if she had not been dirty with like someone else's.
I think that's what it was. That was also in her mind.
Yeah.
She was running that through, but I just don't.
She did that scene so well.
Oh my
you really
God.
felt her like the stickiness of the situation.
Yeah. And sorry, the stickiness of the situation. I can't help
Why
it.
didn't you-
It's like your line in the first episode. What is it that you say in the pilot when you first meet Adam? It's something like how you like to ride
Horse, ride.
Yeah, and you actually did get to ride horse in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
That
know.
was so great. That scene.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into then. We see that montage of Rachel and Jeremy and Quinn and Chet. Quinn is milking it. She took the ring off because she's too much for set. And I feel like even though Chet, we don't give him that much credit, he might start being like at the beginning of the episode a bit suspicious, or is he just a total idiot?
He has no idea.
He has no idea.
Until he learns at the end. But he has. And
At that beginning part, he has no idea.
yeah.
Quinn is way smarter than Chet.
So what is she planning to do? My question is, he wants to, they were talking about making a baby, right? And she doesn't hop off before why would she do that? The small possibility that she could get
she
pregnant.
takes the pill on the plane.
That's what she was taking? I was
Yeah.
like, what is she taking?
She's smart. She's like, she will stop at nothing to get him back now that she's been wronged.
God, how funny is
Even
that?
take that risk and take the morning after pill or whatever.
She's smart and she's really strong.
Yeah.
And I love seeing her in this episode now when she's starting to command herself and do her own thing. And she is much smarter than Chet. She will run with this and she
way
will.
smarter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she makes him look like a complete child.
Right.
It's
The show without her, Chet could be in full ownership. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
There is no show.
and that's what she ends up proposing to Brad. So she goes to LA for a lady doctor appointment, which is just kind of hilarious. Like, oh, I need to go to my gynecologist in the middle or almost at the end of shooting our show. Yeah, sure, I'm just gonna go. So, but she really goes to pitch Brad, the network executive, basically say she's not gonna work with Chet anymore, and without her, Chet is nothing. And that, he needs a new show more than he needs a drinking buddy.
I loved that. I wrote down that quote. Because then you also see the inside thing of like him and Chet are supposedly good friends, loyal to each other.
No such thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in this business.
Yeah.
So what's very fascinating about this, Brad doesn't like Quinn. We've seen that, he doesn't really seem to respect women at all, but she has all these ideas and he knows how smart she is and how much money she can make him. So we'll see what happens about that. I mean, when we saw her have that thumb drive, someone commented, which we love always, about why didn't you mention the thumb drive last week? I was thinking there was blackmail on it, but it's not. It's just like Quinn's projects. I mean, it can't be something that crazy on the thumb drive, just her like ideas.
I thought she was bringing like some video clip or something, like personally bringing it to LA to do that. But yeah, it's her ideas over the past 8 years that she hasn't shared with Chet, which I guess
They're her.
is pretty valuable in that situation
Yeah.
because
She's a smart woman, and she kind of had the forethought to not share everything with him, to kind of keep, was like, that's her little security stash away for a rainy day.
She's such a strong woman. I really wish that like we could look up to her if it wasn't for all the blackmail that she so dearly relies on for everything.
That's what I think makes these characters so interesting, is because on certain levels you admire them and their strength and the things they manage to pull off, and then on the other hand you're like, wait, I don't want to be like emulating these people. They're actually like despicable. And I think that's what shows like that, where the protagonists are these like, and not necessarily they're these anti-heroes, that those shows are doing really well right now.
I think they're it's rare for me to find shows like this that have that sort of dimension in a character,
Yeah.
because there's usually, I don't know why they do it, but you look at a show and you know this person's good, this person's bad, and but in this show it's completely the opposite.
That's why it's so brilliant.
Right. That's why these people are captivating, and even every week we sit here for an hour and talk about it. One week we'll be like, oh, their moral compass is so good, this is great. The next we'll be like, oh my god, what a shitty thing they just did.
That's why it's so good, because that's it was based on real life. Sarah Shapiro was a producer on a show like this, and these are good people put in situations where they're given cash bonuses to make other people feel and look like shit on TV. So it's kind of like, it just shows the complexity of this world and the humans existing within it. This is why the show is so compelling.
I read a very fascinating article last week about a producer on The Smatchler, that this is what we call it because, we don't want to throw one of my favorite franchises under the bus. But the producer came out and was just like, I actually feel really bad about a lot of the things that I've done as a producer. And the show kind of like brought that to light almost, which is...
This show?
Yeah, this show.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose of the show. That's like the mission statement of, Sarah and Marty, is to blow the lid off and expose this world, which is a really dark and crazy world.
And I fear that...
And people deserve to know.
Absolutely, I agree. Because these are the shows that... people are tuning into. People are giving their viewing, their numbers to, which makes more of the show, which is,
so, like, they have a huge viewership, that they're shaping culture in a way.
Absolutely.
They're selling this, like, shitty dream to, like, America. And people are buying into this really warped idea of romance and competition and these standards that they sell, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
I think even... My thing, we talked about this last week a little bit, is, okay, so we, a viewer watches both shows. They watch UnREAL and they watch The Bachelorette, or any reality show. When you watch UnREAL, how many viewers take it as this stuff really happens, or think, wow, I can't believe Hollywood could make up all these different things? And I think...
don't know. What do you think?
I'm sort of torn. I think the people in the business here in the West Coast that deal with
it's all
I think
true.
they're like, oh my gosh, finally people are seeing it. And I think people that maybe aren't in the business really or intentionally sort of turn their head and say, I like the product, so I'm just going to ignore it.
It depends on the context. That's a really interesting thing to think about. It depends who's watching. Someone on the West Coast in the know has no doubt that people could pull something like that off and get away with that.
I'm a fan of both. I do. I watch The Bachelorette and The Bachelor, and I make fun of it terribly. Like, that's just that's the joy in it for me, kind of, is to kind of laugh at it. I live tweet, I do my thing. It's so much fun, but at the same time, it's been around for so long that people that are going into it know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have become successful from the show in their business if they're smart about it, which, Adam on the actual show, it's the whole reason that he's doing it is to build his franchise and, his hotel and vineyard.
I mean, I think that's what UnREAL did an amazing job at, is they touch not only, let's look at the people that are here on the show, but also what happens on the show, why they're there. They covered almost every base of things that are going on to be like, like you said, it opens up and it's off of a lie, a fake thing.
They picked all the right storylines that really happen on those shows. The guy in it to get exposure for his business, the lawyer who's trying to make a difference, and it's just really buys into the idea of romance, and they were really smart about how they wrote the characters and storylines, and and everything is fictional, but anyone smart that watches the show know that it's grounded in a lot of general truth about those reality shows in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's hope that it's not that realistic, even though we know it probably is. When so Quinn calls Rachel into her office, doesn't tell her what Chet has done yet. When Rachel asks her, Quinn goes, "You have no idea. You don't want to know." But she tells Rachel she's going to be opening up her own production company and wants her to be a partner, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Rachel's ready to throw that away for Jeremy, which is just it's so confusing to me. I don't remember if Rachel's on medication, but the way she's acting, it seems like she's being crazy. It seems like she went off of it because she's just really making these rash decisions.
I think it goes to show like this, how much stress she's under and how realistic it is when you're juggling all these balls of trying to A, be good at your job, B, be a decent human being, C, trying to have a love life. Yeah, she's going crazy, and she does a really good job of it. But I think the whole reason why she's torn is because she sees Quinn and she sees that Quinn isn't happy, and says, she has that line, like, you want to be Chet, but I don't want to be you.
Yeah.
And it's true. She doesn't, she sees that, and she's smart enough to know that there's no fulfillment in that. And Jeremy represents to her something more simple and something with a chance of happiness.
And yet everyone that she talks to on set basically flips it the other way, and how the simple life, like, oh, you're going to be, I don't even know, they, like very simple things that she would be doing at home with Jeremy, and they were like, that's not going to be fulfilling to you. Like, this is it.
Yeah. Even Adam is like, he can't keep up with you. And that's, well, haven't we all kind of been in that struggle choosing between two people?
Not that are that hot, though.
But, that's like a really real decision that we all face. Like, oh, this person is like sweet and grounded and I can go camping with, but this person will take me on vacation to the Caribbean, And it's just like, it's just this decision that we all kind of get faced with in life. There's the stability versus the excitement of, not knowing.
I wouldn't even want to take a guess at which one she's going to choose, if either, because knowing her character, I don't know that she knows at any time. She could just, double down on either of them.
That's what makes a show so exciting, is that you don't know until the very end. And I think even at the very end, you may not know. I don't know. It's been a while. I have to watch next week.
Who knows? Maybe Chet and Little Weirdo, as he calls her, which I love, run off together in the sunset in a stolen car.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. Little Weirdo got such a twist in her plot line. It's funny because she hadn't read it yet, and we had all read it, and she was running around, and we're like, yo, Genevieve, have you read the latest script? She's like, no, but everybody keeps telling me, and no one wanted to tell. And she's like, what? And we're like, just get to the last page. I feel like no one knew that one was coming.
God, it was amazing. Quinn continues on her path of self-destruction and a form of blackmail with Madison, the PA, and basically says, I know what happened between you and Chet. The same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
And then she says, you're 19, right? And the girl's probably 25 years old. I mean, who knows? And she says, you don't know what you were doing. I'm going to get you a lawyer. And she has this whole plan to sue and take him down, which is kind of brilliant and sad and kind of evil. And then let's cut to some of the fun parts, which is which is Grace. You guys, can I just say, if you could see this board right now, like Nick looked at it before we started, the amount of storylines are so insane. Yeah. I literally look like a dog ate my homework. I've been just like writing so much. Okay, so Grace and Adam and their date. That's what I want to talk about.
Well, before the date, that scene with Chet is pretty sad and funny.
Happy though
that she finally spoke her mind. She finally got to lash out at these people. She's playing the game because the whole series, she's playing the game because she's not dumb, and she knows that an angry outburst like that could cost her a lot. So she keeps quiet, and there's only so much that someone can take. And she's Latin and she's spicy. So I love that scene where she's hitting Chet you idiot, and you can keep your contract and screw you. I was really proud of her for that.
I think right in that moment is when I realized she has power. She has a lot of power right now in this situation. Because before
she's hitting the show creator.
Exactly. And before, everyone was sort of walking on eggshells about, okay, where do you need me? What do I need to do? And now she's like, you know what? I'm, final 3, gonna be final 2.
Yeah.
You need to start listening to me at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm so, I loved it. It was one of my favorite scenes.
Me too. When I read it, I was just like, yeah, she gets to stand up for herself and show a little bit of her feistiness. And yeah, she does lose it. She does break down a little bit, but it's not in a she's still she doesn't like throw in the towel and like have a pity party. When Rachel comes to her and is like, you could still be in it, she's still got fire in her eyes. She's like, really? Okay, all right. And she's getting strategic. You see in the beginning when she's fighting with Chet, she's tied her hair up in a bun. And I made these choices as an actress too when playing her. I was like, I want her now to be really classy and very closed off. Like I don't want her to be showing a lot of boob and leg, because she knows she's up against Anna, and Anna's really classy. She already, like she says, Adam already knows that I'm sexy. He needs now to see my brains and my heart. So she goes in there strategically with her hair done up, looking really classy in her amazing riding outfit, and Chet's like, we need to sex it up, and she loses it. But then when Rachel talks to her and says, look, you still have a real chance of winning this, you got to give him all of it. She understands and she concedes, and then you see her cut to her in the riding scene, her hair's down, and she's rocking that riding outfit, and he has his hand on her butt as he lifts her up.
Yeah.
That was a really fun scene to play.
And she's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, she's working it now. Now she's at a 10.
Because she's smart. She's a smart competitor.
She's smart.
Yeah.
She's smart, and she's more comfortable with her sexuality. They're most comfortable with her sexuality than anyone else on that show, and that's a powerful thing to have and to wield. That is kind of like people don't like to talk about, and like as someone who's comfortable in her sexuality is a slut, and she was definitely labeled as a slut earlier on in the show. And so I love that she shows herself to be so much more than that, and shows herself to be someone like, hey, just because I enjoy sex, just because I have fun giving blowjobs in the wardrobe trailer doesn't mean that I can't ride a horse like a badass, that I won't hit the show creator. Like she's a full, this is the episode where you see her as a fully fleshed character.
I want more, though. I truly do. Let me ask you, though. So at one point, Grace does say to Chet, she says, I thought I was going to marry Adam and we were going to get our own show, and I actually wanted to marry him.
Yeah. Here's the thing, is that she's not 100% like conniving and evil. She's a realist, but she likes a guy. Why not? They've been having fun times in the thing, and she likes the potential of a show, and she understands that being married is not forever. It's for the show, and she'll enjoy it while that's happening, but you'll see in the next episode her real take on it all. And it's layered. You can like somebody, you can want to marry somebody for a lot of reasons. People marry people all the time for a lot of reasons. That love is not just the only one. I think there's a lot of and there's a lot of lust, and there's a lot of potential for something exciting in the future. And Grace is all about excitement in the future.
What do you think Grace would do if she knew about Adam and Rachel?
That's a great question.
I think she would plot and scheme, and like she would figure out with her brain what the next step would be. I think she would have a moment. She's Latin American. Latin American men are This is a big generalization. But when you're from South America, you're used to a certain kind of machismo. A guy cheats, that's unfortunately normal. That's like part of the thing. That's just part of the package in South America. And so there's a strategy around that kind of stuff when that stuff comes up, where you might be mad for a second, you might feel wronged, but then you start thinking and you start plotting and you start thinking, right, how am I gonna get them back? How am I gonna get out of this? How am I gonna still win? I think she would still stay in the game. I think she would be like, okay, I'm gonna deal with this later after I win. She's not weak. She wouldn't throw in the towel just because of that.
That's what I love about her, is the survival mentality.
She's a survivor. It would be the kind of thing, like when you're with a partner and they like mess up publicly and you're like, I'm gonna deal with you when we go home.
We're gonna get through tonight.
We're gonna put on a happy face tonight, and then when we get home, I'm gonna let you have it. And that's kind of what it's like. I think if she found out, she would just kind of like take it in her stride and deal with it after winning.
I agree. I wonder how Anna would deal with it as well, because not only is it like Rachel is a producer, but Anna and Grace are two of her girls. And so she's supposed to protect them.
I think
Right.
Grace would feel really betrayed by Rachel, but at this point, she sees through Rachel now. She's already, given Rachel so many chances to help her out, and she's not dumb. She knows. This is how Sarah sold me. The writer of the show, Sarah, sold me on playing Grace, was that she is a master manipulator, just like Shiri, just like Rachel. So manipulators know other manipulators. She, by this point, knows what's going on. And so she would feel betrayed, but she would also have kind of, in a way, seen it coming. Not put it past her. Let's do it.
That's, I think, the main difference between Anna. She, I think, would try to be her survivor, but she is plagued by her emotions, I think, at that point. I don't know that she would be able to go through it or push through that.
I mean, I can't speak for Anna's character, but she was definitely written, to be, I think, truer to her heart than Grace. Although she may surprise you in the coming episode. I'm not going to say.
Will she?
She may.
Okay.
Everyone may surprise you. And that's the cool thing about this show, is that no one is just one person.
Yeah.
To be put in that kind of high pressure situation, you start becoming somebody that you didn't know you were. It starts bringing out some things in you that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah, and I think that's happened to a lot of the characters that have left the show.
Yeah.
And
they found themselves being not the people they thought they were. And
that's why Maya just had enough.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't walk into this game show, whatever, thinking that was the outcome or thinking that's where her arc would go. That's just what it does to somebody.
See, Grace has the strength to do whatever. I think she went into it knowing it was going to be a shit show. She went into it knowing this is going to, require all of my strength and willpower and cunning and beauty and whatever, everything I have inside of me. But I think she also didn't expect to have it this hard, because she's used to getting everything she always wants, because she's smart and she's beautiful and she's charming and graceful. She's Grace.
Yeah.
Everything's always been handed to her, and she's not expecting this kind of a fight, which is why it's so heartbreaking to see her lose it at Chet, because she's having a bit of a tantrum. She's used to getting her way.
Yeah.
She was. That was exactly what it was. When she walked away, when you walked away, she kind of was just like, and I was laughing. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I would totally be the same way, probably.
What's funny is that I had to do, I really, that scene wasn't a comedy for me. When I was preparing to do it, it was hard. I was really trying to get in touch with all the disappointments I'd ever felt in my life, and how disappointed she must be to have, this dream so close and almost snatched away from her. And it was really emotional for me, and I really got into it, and I really played that side of it. And then I'd go and check with the director and everyone watching, and after every take, and they'd all be cracking up it's so good, do it again. And I'm like, why is this funny?
You're like, what in the hell is this?
And it's because the way Chet was, the way he was playing it was just he was so baffled by what was going on. He just did not have the capacity to hold that space for a fiery Latin woman who was pissed at him. And so it was just funny to see these two characters, because this is pretty much their only interaction. You haven't seen her interact with Chet before, so it's interesting when they do come together.
Yeah, it's not a good pair ever.
Yeah, well, at this point, she's got no respect for she's not going to respect his authority anymore, and he's not somebody that respects women, and so you've got two people that don't respect each other at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into Adam and Faith's date then, which is, it's brief because, as we know, Faith leaves this evening, but it's a construction date. What are they doing? Trying to renovate
a fake wall with their with whatever kind of fake brick that they're knocking down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Everything she does is so funny. It's it's just really smart. Every scene that Faith is written into, is even the one last week where they do that mud date.
Oh yeah.
They end up having that mud fight. I can't. I would always choose to stick around and watch her scenes whenever I cook, because she's so good. But yeah, it's just where they planted the.
Well, what did they do? This time they went through a wall. I think they were
it was a fake hidden room that she had found on the blueprint.
Yes.
And so
stupid.
Yeah, but now So when she said, like, listen, I think you should pick me. I think we could do this. That's when I was like, oh, my prediction's right. Here we go. This is going to make sense. She's going to sell it to him. No, didn't happen. But did you think the same thing, or did you think he was like, that's it, this is the end?
What do you think, Nathallie?
Wait, did he think that?
Like, well, it's different for you because you read it. As a viewer, when I was watching it, I thought this was her break. I thought this is how she was going to angle it.
When I read it, I was like, wow, even Faith is doing things that she normally wouldn't do. We're all scrambling to stay in it. You know, I was really shocked that she would pull something like that. I would not have expected that of her character. So it's just an interesting observation on what those shows do to people, I guess. But I don't know. I knew I was going to the end, you know. So at that point, I was pretty cutthroat too, and I wasn't buying it. I'm like, he's not gonna go for that.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if he would have. Adam would have gone for it if he didn't see Rachel with Jeremy and like have that. You know, he wanted to make Rachel jealous. I feel like it would have been a great idea. And the thing is that yes, it was manipulative of Faith, but she's not hurting anybody. And she was like, listen, dude, you don't love either of these girls.
It's kind of like a logical pitch. But
that would be the happiest ending, to be honest.
Yeah, because two people...
But they're not going to give you that.
No, that's very true. Well,
those things are never happy for anyone. So why would they do that?
But I mean,
and you know what? He doesn't deserve her. She is too good for him. Would you want that beautiful, amazing girl to end up with that sleazy character that he played?
Well, she'll have Amy come in and they'll go to San Francisco.
Only because they both have different agendas would I... If she was going in wholeheartedly and really into it, then I would say no. But because she has a different agenda, I'm like, okay, maybe this is the most truthful way that this could go. Maybe. Not so much. I mean, but back to with Adam making Rachel jealous. How about that air balloon scene when he basically is talking to Rachel or knowing that she's going to hear when he's bringing up, and then he brings up things from her past conversation to like trigger.
That was pretty messed up. Yeah. That was pretty messed up. Has that ever happened to you where like somebody you've been into has like you've told things to them or things that you think are cool or whatever, and then you hear them being like taking it on as if it's their own, and you're like,
I feel like I've seen that on Twitter. That's happened to me on Twitter
that's happened to me once with a song that I liked, and then I heard this guy be like, here's this song that I love,
and you're like,
I was like, that was our song. I discovered that song. I gave you that song and made you look cool with that song. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it was a very real thing that stuff like that happens.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, like we talked about, what's sad is that Anna thinks she's falling in love with Adam, whereas Grace like cares about him, is in lust with him. I don't know if she was told to, she would maybe say she was in love with him if that would get her, you know, the proposal and the show at the end. But Anna, poor girl, had just lost her father. She needs some kind of validation for staying on the show and leaving her family that had just lost.
What was the one-liner?
Oh, amazing. I wrote it down somewhere that you said to her.
In the initial interview.
He doesn't want some sad sack who can't keep her food down. What is it? The dead daddy.
Yep.
Doesn't want some sad sack with a dead daddy that can't keep her food down.
I mean, she's going for the jugular, but only because Anna
started it.
Yeah. Anna, she's the...
Yeah, and even when you guys first bumped heads, right, you were like, oh, honey, you were being nice to her. It started off with you being nice.
Grace doesn't need to get down on that level. She won't unless she's pushed. And, she's a strong woman. A lot of strong women carry that knowledge of their strength and therefore don't need to, like, get down on that level a lot of times. But she also doesn't like to be crossed or disrespected. And Anna is good. It's that Southern thing. Actually, me and Johanna, who played Anna, would talk about this a lot, about how in the South, there's never any really direct confrontation, it's always like with a smile, like you know, like smile, like like shade, but like hidden, veiled references to things, and that really bugs Grace because she's just like, what? Get it out! Like, tell me, let's talk about it. Latin people are quite direct, and then you know, Anna plays by these like Southern genteel rules of like pretending, but like them being like, you know, shady on the side.
Yeah, giving zingers with a smile.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's an interesting way those two characters operate.
And a lot of times in these kind of shows, those are the final two that are kind of like night and day.
Yeah.
They're very different.
Yeah. It's true. We started off the show really as polar opposites, but it's by the end we're both resorting to the same tactics, which is just funny. Again, back to like how those shows turn you into the big people that you not usually are. Like Grace doesn't usually get in fist fights. She's way too classy for that, you know, but you know.
At the beginning, that's interesting you say that, because if you brought, you know, the contract and the pitch of, you know, okay, listen, sign this contract, here we go, you're married for a year, you'll do another show. If you proposed that to Grace at the beginning when her character had just walked in, she would have been like, this is crazy, absolutely not, what is this? I think, and then you're right, how that changes you and how you view different things, but at the end you're like, okay, I get how this works now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think she was always in it to win it, but at the same time, she's having fun, and she was light with it. She kept things very lighthearted, but by the end it starts getting serious, and it started getting serious for us as actors. We started to really believe we were on the show too. You know, the stakes were really high for us. Yeah. It got weird. It really did, energetically, and it got weird getting scripts and being like, what's happening? Who's leaving?
See, that's crazy. Because then it really does turn into the game in a way. Because
it was like this bizarre, big method acting experiment where we're really quarantined in the city with each other and not knowing. Everyone kept in the dark until the week before, and we get the script. And so it's just a really interesting thing to have been a part of.
How long total were you guys filming for?
Like 4 or 5 months.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy how that could actually happen. Yeah,
it was really, I mean, I don't know if it was intentional. I mean, that's just the nature of going on location and shooting a show, but we definitely got really into those characters, you know. And then with Shiri's character and Constance being in all those scenes, it adds to their, like, they're in almost every scene, so it adds to their like heightened stress about everything. It was because it was a stressful production at times. So many people around, so many different girls, so many different energies. When you get a lot of women in one place, there's a lot of shit comes up, you know?
Yeah. Did you guys all have your period at the same time?
Some of us were sinking, for sure. I mean, there was always a lot going on, and we were a lot of times there in like a lot of people, like the call sheet would be like almost all of us in the scenes, even if like we don't have a line, because when they had to do those big, you know, everlasting scenes, we all had to be there, even if we're just standing there. Yeah. So you spend a lot of time with these people. I think more time than on like a normal show, because you know we're all in these scenes together.
Yeah, it's not your normal 3-4 character.
Yeah, just rock up and do that scene and then leave. It's like, you know, there's like 20 people on that call sheet.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's crazy.
It's pretty amazing. Okay, let's get into Quinn, Rachel, Adam confrontation. We discussed this last week. Did Rachel purposely? We thought that Rachel purposely had known that she was being filmed when she was having sex with Adam, but that's not the case. I don't think.
No, absolutely not.
She didn't know.
Yeah, she didn't know, and so, you know, Quinn wants Adam to do another season. She also wants Rachel to be her partner in her new business, so she uses this sex tape as
Was she
a way.
looking... when she started looking at these tapes, was she looking for dirt on Rachel, or was she just looking to see what she could get on Chet or on this and that? I didn't understand that. I was wondering.
I think in that position, you're looking for anything. You're looking for dirt on anyone.
Okay.
And at that moment, you know, you're aware. You know what's being filmed, and then someone like her, brilliant and smart and cunning, can very quickly put things together, and especially when they have, you know, they need something on someone. That was probably not a hard thing for her to like.
She produced them. I love how there was a few references in the show when they would say, whenever there were a tough challenge, be like, okay, go produce that, but even outside of the show, and then you realize like, holy crap, it's manipulating, but it works, and they're good at it.
Yeah.
And that's how they're getting, and she's getting her results at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, that's the kind of shit that Rachel would pull with, one of the contestants. So to get it done back to her, it's kind of like, kind of satisfying in a way.
It is. It's super messed up, though. And I love when Quinn says to Rachel, get in here and bring your boyfriend. Yeah, she goes, Jeremy, no, the other one.
Yeah, it's such good writing.
I know. She's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's just, there's no, there's no privacy on any of those shows. Your business is everyone else's business.
I know. I mean, I get when Rachel went into Adam's bed, the 2 times that she has been, I'm like, okay, she lives in a truck. She wants a bed.
That's understandable.
I mean, it kind of is. And even Jeremy in this episode was like, let me take you home, not to live with me, but so you can stop living like a homeless person.
Yeah,
take a real shower. But I think the first time she got in that, or maybe it wasn't the first, but there was one point when it did seem like she just wanted the bed at that point.
Yeah, the first time.
First time.
She rolled over.
Even though there was definitely energy, she really just did need a bed. She didn't start out the show with the intention of like bedding him. She's too smart for that. But she, Adam is also like someone who likes to conquer women, and he likes challenges, and she's the ultimate challenge because she's not competing for him like all these other women. And so men like that like these challenges to boost their ego, and
Well, is it that? I mean, does he think he's in love with her, but it's really the challenge? Because at the end of the episode, Adam gets very clear that he just wants to run away with Rachel. He's obsessed with her. Is it the chase?
I think that's a part of it. I mean, I can't speak for whether in his heart he really loves her, and I guess you'll find out next episode who really loves who. But I definitely think this aspect of wanting to conquer someone is a huge part of it. Especially you've seen Adam has this, poor guy. He kept getting the scoops and being like, "Oh, I'm just such an asshole." Like,
I hear he's like the nicest,
he's so nice.
most pure guy.
He plays a good asshole, though.
He's
Gotta
really
give it to
sweet,
him.
and he does it. He does a really good job, and it's definitely not like him in real life. But that character, is a bit of a misogynist.
Oh yeah.
And he loves to bed all kinds of women, and he apparently doesn't discriminate, and he is after her now because she can be another, I guess, notch on his belt. And maybe he's deluded himself into thinking he really loves her, but is someone like that really capable of that kind of love?
I don't know. I think it almost, just like it has an effect on the contestants, I think the show has had an effect on him to the point of, I think, where I take it, I'm like, okay, maybe this is what he sees as the only real, untouched from all this fake stuff that's happening on the show. This is Rachel and him. He thinks this is real. That sort of validates it. This could leave from the show. Anything else I take from the show could just be on a fake basis.
Yeah, I think he's also disillusioned with the way that whole world works. And there's a lot of projection happening. He's projecting onto her what his life could be. And for some reason, he's projected onto her this ideal life of his, a truthful life, where she's actually been the purveyor of all these non-truths.
That's
so
very
he's
true.
crazy. So he deserves whatever he gets. But at the same time, there's a lot of projecting, onto Jeremy, what that life's going to be like. Everybody's got these fantasy notions of what their life is going to be like with everybody else. Grace has this fantasy, Anna has a fantasy, and none of it is real. And that's the whole point of the show, is that none of this crap is real. You're being sold lies.
Yeah.
And when it's
buying
over,
them.
That's in its simplest form. That's, the title of the show. So it's unreal. It's all
Exactly. That's why it's so brilliant.
Well, it is. And then when you hear what the show is, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Unreal. And then at the end, you're like, oh, wow. Unreal. Really, the characters themselves are trying to find reality in this place where it doesn't exist, and trying to somehow be grounded in this crazy world. And the only one that really got up and left on their own accord is Maya.
Yeah.
Everyone else either was, told to leave or
and a lot of
died.
really smart people. Anna is a very smart woman. Grace is very smart, and they are choosing to stay. And and that's actually a question that I really thought about a lot during the filming of the series, because I had never watched an episode of The Bachelor in my life. I kind of saw bits and pieces of it before I auditioned. Actually, no, that's a lie. I auditioned without knowing. And then I got the job, and then I was like, I should probably watch this. And I watched a couple of episodes, and I I just couldn't believe that there were some really smart women who put themselves through that willingly. And then knowing about all the smart women behind the scenes writing this shit and producing it. And then do you know that the demographic of women that watches The Bachelor, it's like the highest, like most educated demographic of women.
Really? I didn't know
It's really
that.
smart women. They're making money and they're educated. And so I'm just like, this is such a dumb concept and dumb idea. Why are smart people buying into it? What are we trying to escape? Why is reality so bad that we're buying into this BS reality and swallowing it as like this, you know, as truth? And wanting that fantasy.
It's crazy to me.
I know you watch it, so this isn't an attack on you. I'm
it's
asking
okay.
collectively as a culture, because I watched it and I got sucked in. Like, I tore myself away after my research of a couple of episodes because I could see how powerful it is. It's really powerful, this message they put out there, and these characters that they shape for you, and you invest in someone losing, and you invest in someone else being shamed, and you invest in that person being crazy. And then when you step out of it, you know, you're like, whoa, I just participated in some really messed up shit. Like, I was just participating in this really crazy world.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many questions and like reasons why people like it. We could do like 10 hours on it. Let's end our show tonight by talking about one of the most shocking parts of the show, which was Dr. Wagerstein.
Yeah.
Loved that. So she's basically been working undercover for Chet this entire time, is what I'm assuming. She's been going to him.
I don't know. I took it as she's just, like she said, anyone in this business isn't about to like look out for you. She's trying to get a leg up. She wants a show.
She's now blackmailing him with that information. I don't think it's for her looking out for Chet and being against Quinn. I think, like everybody else, she's an opportunist, and everyone on this thing wants their own show. Yeah, you know, and that says, you know, a lot about just the nature of us as, like, we want to be more famous. We want to be the winner, you know, and she's just like the contestants. She wants more than her 5 minutes of fame.
And we truly do want to believe that she's the most benevolent of all of these,
which is why it's so
people.
brilliant. But you know she's not. Like, that's for her to. And just even the fact that they have somebody like that on the show, and this is a real thing. They really have a psychologist on the show.
Absolutely.
And they know all these personal details about the girls, and they're telling them the producers in order to manipulate them. So. And then that, you know, Dr. Wagerstein has done such a brilliant job of being this lovely, sweet person, having this lovely, sweet facade, but actually what she's doing is really messed up.
Yeah, it's egotistical. Everyone's egos fighting against each other. She wants her own segments.
She's no different.
Dr. Phil was nobody once. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was a really brilliant turn of events too at the end.
I love that too. All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up for tonight. Let's get into some quick predictions with Nick and I. I don't think Nathallie
Your
can tell us anything.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Nick, you go ahead.
I'm just nervous. I'm nervous and excited to see what this is going to do for Chet. Where is he going to go? Is he immediately going to start protecting his bases? What power is he going to have? I don't know, but I wanted to see Quinn prevail. I really did, and I truthfully think she will. That's my biggest prediction. As for the girls, the competition, who's winning, who's Adam going home with, where's Rachel, I don't have a damn clue, and every time I have predicted, it's been wrong so far. So
You went Team Grace from the beginning?
Yeah, well,
I knew she would be final two. I knew she would be final two.
She was final two material the whole time. That's very true.
Yes, and if there would have been a first impression rose, she definitely would have gotten it. I feel like sometimes I'm pretty good with my predictions, and I don't know what is going to happen at all. We see for scenes from next week, who comes back? What's her name? You didn't see it. You're just choking.
Choking on water.
The character, the girl from the first week, her real name's Ariel. Gosh, I forget her name. Brittany comes back somehow. And we don't know why or what the hell. I'm super excited.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of hers, like, as
Brittany's
an actress.
Back. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. So that's going to happen. I mean, Adam is, he's going to end up with someone, whether that's like who we want or he wants or not.
I think homie's leaving empty-handed.
That, I don't know.
With a fake show.
God, I honestly have no idea. And I think the Jeremy thing, like Jeremy and Rachel, once Jeremy knows what Rachel has done, like it's going to be over. That's only a matter of time until that is over. So I'm not sure. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's talk about where we can find everyone really quickly on the internet if you want to tweet at us this week and ask us questions about the show. Go ahead, Nick.
You guys can find me at Nicholas Grava on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm at Nat Kelley, Natkelley, on both Twitter and Instagram as well.
Awesome. And of course, you guys can find us at AfterBuzzTV.com on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the works, and me, Sam Davidson, at SamDavidsonEntertainment.com, and on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. We will see you next week for the finale.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice being here.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.